Hi everyone, Brian Crawl here in the Philippines to show you this super awesome starfish. Just look at it. It's like a freaking alien from another planet or something. And like these lines here actually open up a little and there's some sort of like tentacles inside. Wow, I've never seen a live starfish before or seen anything like this for that matter. It's pretty amazing the types of things you see when you are traveling to exotic tropical locations. All these different types of sea creatures that are really kind of like aliens, different sea plants. And I wanted to do a special video for you on the topic of inspiration and where your inspiration should come from, because a lot of people have this sort of idea that inspiration should be automatic, that it should be something that comes to you freely and that you don't have to work for, right? You should just be inspired whenever the universe deems, right? It's not up to you, right? It's up to the universe or your destiny when you feel inspired and when the creative juices flow or your intellectual faculties kick in or you have some revelation, right? Most people are sitting around waiting for inspiration to come to them. And as an author and a musician, I've talked to so many other authors, musicians, and artists who will suffer things such as writer's block or creative block, and they just wait for inspiration to come to them, but oftentimes it doesn't come for a very long time because that's not the way inspiration works. Inspiration is something that you have got to create. You need to make your own inspiration. I mean, doesn't that make more sense? Just as how if you're an entrepreneur, you're not gonna wait for business deals to come to you, right? Just how in every other aspect of being an artist, you have to be the one doing the creating, right? And inspiration is not just for artists or for entrepreneurs. Of course, it's for people who are spiritual, people who are intellectual, people who want to live more purposeful, meaningful lives, people who want to become self-actualized and fulfilled, anyone who's into personal development in any aspect. You need some sort of inspiration to be your catalyst or your driving force in whatever it is you're doing, right? But you can't wait for that inspiration to come to you. Just as how in every other way, you need to be a self-starter and you need to be the one taking action, making happen what you want to happen. Since you need to be the one creating your destiny and creating your lifestyle and your self-actualization and all of those different things, you need to be the one creating your inspiration. So, but where does inspiration come from? People are probably wondering, where am I supposed to get inspiration from, right? Well, you have to go out and find it. You have to go out and do inspiring things. If you are just sitting home at your desk, in front of a piece of paper or in front of your computer or whatever it is you're working on, waiting for inspiration to come to you, oftentimes it won't. It depends on the project though. So there are some people who, if you're doing some sort of creative project, yes, meditating on the items in front of you could help. But for a lot of people, the fact that you're not inspired is because you're not living life in an inspiring way. You're not living life in a meaningful way or the way that you really, really want to. If you were to be self-actualized, you would probably be living different. You'd probably be living a more inspired life. So you have to look at how you're living. I mean, what are the things that you do with yourself? Where do you go? Are you living an inspired life? Are you doing things that inspire you? Are you going to inspiring places? And this is something that was a revelation to me when I started traveling, because back when I had a residential location, sometimes I would suffer from writer's block or creative block. Not often, because I was very active in that environment. But I would oftentimes spend sometimes a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months of 24/7, 16-hour days just at my desk. And after a while, sometimes I would start suffering from this writer's block or this creative block, right? And it was oftentimes not until I became more active that I found myself getting inspired again. And as I'm now traveling a lot, I'm finding myself constantly inspired. There's constant inspiration around me, okay? Everywhere I go, there's sources of inspiration and an influx of new ideas and information from these inspiring places that I'm going and things that I'm doing, right? I mean, look at this. Having this tropical setting all around me, it's a very inspiring thing. So you have to look at what you're actually doing with yourself other than working. And I'm not saying to take a vacation. I'm not on vacation. I'm out here working, right? Some of you may be thinking, oh, well, I don't have the money or the time for travel. That's because you're thinking of it in terms of a vacation, right? This is not a vacation for me. This is work, okay? I'm not staying in some resort. I haven't spent a lot of money, and I'm not taking time off of work. I'm doing work, and I'm living my life with the same expenses that I used to at my residential home. I just happen to be visiting more beautiful and inspiring locations where I'm able to experience more nature, more spirituality, more art and culture, okay? That's what you want to be doing with yourself. But again, you can do that. You can be an active person and live an inspiring life, even in your residential city or location, all right? But if you're lacking inspiration or looking for sources of inspiration or to become more inspired, you have got to be the one taking charge of your inspiration. You've got to be the one to create your inspiration by living a more inspiring life and doing more inspiring things. Doesn't that just make sense? Okay, so don't wait around for the universe to somehow inspire you. Do not wait to be inspired. Become inspired. Be an inspiring person. Be someone who lives an inspiring life and seeks out inspiring experiences and has them when you are not naturally, okay? There are so many ways to have inspiring experiences all the time with places all around you or just doing things, and maybe even in your home, right? There are so many ways to create inspiration, to become a more inspired person, but you've got to be the one to do that for yourself. You cannot wait for the world to inspire you if you're a boring person living a boring life. Okay, so break free of whatever mundane routines you're trapped in that are robbing you of your inspiration. Get outside of your box so you can think outside of your box and live a more inspiring life so that you can become more inspired. You'll find yourself becoming much more creative, much more intellectual, much more driven, much more successful, much more self-actualized and fulfilled, and living your dream life just like you want to. All right, so I hope that has been helpful to all of you. If you enjoyed this message, be sure to check out all the other videos that I have here on this channel. I've got tons of other free videos here